G'day, welcome to the Boomerang channel. Remember, anybody who says that boomerang throwing is more art than science doesn't understand the science. Right, so what we're doing here is we're comparing against a set of criteria and a benchmark different boomerangs. This one is the Spirit of Earth by Channelcraft. Comes in some nice packaging. I'm just going to rate the, it's a recreational boomerang, so I'm just going to rate it against purpose. I'll just go throw it first. What the hell. Okay, that came a fair bit short. It's a heavy boomerang, very wide span. It's, as I mentioned, its purpose is recreational. I rate everything out of 5, so for its stated purpose, I give that a 4 out of 5. They rate the age to be 9 to 90. I think 9 years old is a bit ambitious, and 90 is a bit ambitious to be throwing a boomerang of that kind of span, that kind of distance. So I rated that a 2 out of 5. The experience, it's rated as intermediate. I'd say intermediate to advanced. It's designed for a stronger wind than this. As you can see, it fell a fair bit short, and there's, if you can see my wind markers, there's pretty much no wind. So I wouldn't rate that terribly highly. So the experience level, intermediate, I'd say intermediate advanced, I'll give that a 4 out of 5. The weight to distance, the ratio of the weight of the boomerang to the distance it achieves, it's a 95 gram boomerang, fairly heavy by standards of other boomerangs of that kind of effective span, so it's not all that efficient. So the span efficiency I marked down to a 2, 39 centimeters across, or 15 1/4 inches in the old money. The wind rating, it's not rated, but you'd have to throw in something of more than 5 meters a second, I'd say. I've got the anemometer out and it wasn't showing anything because it's pretty much still today. But on days when I have thrown it and got it to return, it's been light to medium wind. The flight pattern is quite circular, as you would have seen. It only achieves a semicircle in still conditions, so I give that a middle rating of 3. Its hover, because it's so heavy, it drops faster than other boomerangs made of lighter materials with a more efficient aerofoil. So I give that a 3 middle rating. Accuracy, I give that a 4 because it's fairly consistent, and because of its weight. In a changing wind, you're more likely to know where it's going to end up than a lighter boomerang. Distance that it was rated for is 50 yards, and I threw it a fairly good throw, and hit a tree and measured with my laser viewfinder the tree at the full extent of its range, and instead of 50 yards it was 37.5 meters, which is around 40 yards. So they overstated their distance on that one. So being a distance boomerang, that's literally a shortfall. So I rated that down to a 2. Catchability, middle rating again, the 3, because of that fast drop. And it doesn't hover all that well. Made it harder to catch, but there's a lot to hang on to, so that brought the mark up to the middle again. The instructions are pretty basic. They're pictograms on the instructions on the back. Pretty much standard, but it doesn't give any sort of safety warnings or anything like that. So don't throw it where there are animals or children, or don't throw multiple boomerangs at one time, and wear sunglasses and so on if you're a beginner, that sort of thing. Don't catch it in your teeth. That kind of stuff doesn't say any of that. So I gave the instructions a middle rating because at least there were some. Tunability. Again, I give that a 3 because it's like standard birch ply boomerang. You stick it in a microwave, or you can use a hairdryer, and you can tune it in that way. So I gave that a 3. Materials and finish. It says on the packaging finest quality birch, but it's 5-ply birch. It's not the finest quality. The finest quality birch in that thickness, you can get 10-ply, much more consistent material. So it's a little bit cheaper. So I rated it a 4 because at least it is finished birch plywood. Value for money. Again, I look at everything there against the price. I don't take into account postage. A 3. So overall, 3 out of 5 for that one. Cheers.